Well, we're in the city of Plymouth, Michigan, USA, and as we can see, or as residents can see, who were well familiar with this site, this is the site of the historic Kellogg home of Kellogg Park fame, and I should say former historic Kellogg home, because nearly 3 months ago, a beautiful historic 155-year-old home sat on this site. One morning in the middle of October, a backhoe showed up without warning and just knocked the house down in a matter of 24 hours, which took 155 years of memories and history to build. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind, and many Plymouth residents' minds are, what was the big rush to knock this house down when, as you can see, very little, if anything, has been done in nearly 3 months? I just pulled up this afternoon, and all I can see, it looks like there's been a very recent hole dug where the backhoe is. But what was the rush? Why wasn't there some kind of a review process? Why were not residents warned that there was going to be a demolition? And why did it even have to happen in the first place? The Plymouth City Commission and the Plymouth City Manager and the Mayor would have us all believe that nothing can be done to stop this process, or at least slow it down, and that residents, and especially residents in the neighborhood, have no say in the matter. Well, that's simply not true, because there is an ordinance on the book in the Plymouth City Charter, and it's called 78-53, paragraph 7, subsections 3, 4, and 5. And this ordinance allows for a process by which the building inspector can request of the City Planning Commission a review of any major work like this, or especially demolitions, if the city building inspector so chooses to ask the City Planning Commission for a public review. And there's also nothing in the ordinance that would prevent any city commissioner from asking the city building inspector or anyone else in city government for a review. And while it is true there's nothing to prevent these demolitions outside of the historic district, there's also nothing to prevent a public review, which allows for public input prior to these demolitions happening. So, at the very least, if a 155-year-old historic home is going to be demolished, if nothing more than a common courtesy, it seems to me that the Plymouth City Manager or the City Commission would at least have the courtesy to inform residents that this is about to happen and allow for public review. Unfortunately, they do not do that as a matter of policy, and we can see the result. Neighbors suddenly find that a beautiful home in the neighborhood that everyone loves is gone. So this process should change in the city of Plymouth, in my opinion, and anybody who's concerned about historic preservation in town should truly speak up, because nothing is going to change unless residents start speaking out at City Hall meetings in large numbers, because who else but residents are going to change this process? So thanks for looking in, and I strongly encourage anybody watching this video that's on YouTube to look in and visit the Plymouth Canton Politics and History Facebook group to keep abreast of what's going on in and around Northwest Wayne County in regard to historic preservation, or his general history of the area too. And there are other videos on YouTube showing the demolition. This video is out there now forever. It's going to be on YouTube, and in my opinion, this is very bad public relations for the city of Plymouth, unless something is not done in the ordinance which would allow for, at the very least, a review process. And that's not even required to be added in the ordinance, because it's already there. The attitudes of the city commissioners and city planners and the city manager needs to change too. And the only way real change comes, if the current city leaders are not willing to change, is for folks concerned about historic preservation to run for Plymouth City Commission in November of 2017. that's how true change comes. But this did not have to happen. There's no reason why it needed to happen, and it's just really sad where we're seeing all of these historic homes, such as the historic Kellogg home of Kellogg Park namesake, and the historic Gilbert house on Penniman, and many other historic homes being demolished with no notice. And I do hope that changes. Thank you so much for looking in, and have a happy holiday season and a great 2017.